Welcome back to On the Beat. Isaac here again hosting this week, and I have with me Patrick Wooten, managing partner at Richard Schwartz and Associates. Patrick, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good, great to always see you, Isaac.
Of course. So we're going to talk water,
yes.
Specifically contaminated water, and we've got a fancy acronym called PFAS.
Yes.
All right, tell us what it is.
All right, so PFAS stands for polyfluoroalkyl substances.
Got it.
Man-made chemical. Been around since the 1950s. Mm-hmm. We have figured out through science that it has unfortunately polluted the public water systems, not just across Mississippi, but across the country, and is causing serious health issues for millions of Americans.
Well, that sounds scary. So when you talk about health issues, diseases, cancers,
Yep.
I guess this is all sort of under the umbrella. So what, I guess, specifically can someone get, quote unquote, if they come in contact with this fancy PFAS term?
Absolutely. So there's 5 injuries that have been identified for sure that this relates to if you've ingested water since 1990 and forward. That's kind of the time
So when you
frame.
say water, I guess that could be whether you use to cook with something or just a glass of water, regardless of how it's used, correct?
Great point. It's tap water. A lot of people have bottled water. It's not that. It's public water system, so it's tap water, although for the record, rivers, streams, and lakes are polluted with PFAS as well. But the injuries are thyroid cancer, testicular cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, and then ulcerative colitis. So those are the 5 injuries that we have scientifically determined you have an increased chance of getting if you've ingested contaminated public water since 1990.
I know you're not a doctor, but is there any sort of timeline that's associated with this? I know you said it's been around since the 50s, but obviously there's been a lot of advancements recently. Yeah,
as you look back through all the litigation that's taken place already on these cases, all of the science says you've had to ingest it for a cumulative period of 6 months or more. So if you live in a city or town or county that has that polluted water and you've used that public water system for more than 6 months since the 90s and you have one of those injuries, you may have a claim against one of a dozen manufacturers of the PFAS chemicals.
Gotcha. So you mentioned litigation over the span of the last few years. I guess you're specific, you probably looked more at Mississippi. How do you know if you qualify for a claim, I guess, specifically in Mississippi?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you have one of those health issues that we've talked about, you've lived in this area, you've used public water. If you're like, I've only drunk bottled water, I've never used it, it's not. But the key is you have an injury, you're drinking the water, cooking with the water, you at that point want to call Schwartz and Associates. Because what we're going to have to do is look at the EPA testing. So the state EPA as well as federal EPA test the water. So there's specific levels. Is it above this PFAS level, below this PFAS level, to determine whether or not is a contaminated water system, and then tie it into your injury as well. Because you may have, if you have liver cancer, for example, but guess what? You were a heavy drinker, that's a mitigating circumstance. So there's a lot of things that are going to come into play that the law firm is going to have to do our due diligence in investigation. The injured person's got to fill out this very long information sheet. So it's really jumping in there, diving, and doing all that legwork to determine.
Yeah, you got to see if the timelines jive up.
Exactly. That's the best way to describe it.
All right. Well, Patrick, we sure appreciate it. It's an interesting topic. I learned a lot. And if you have any additional questions or need any additional information, or you need information from the law firm, just head to our website or the information there listed on your screen. We're back after this.